Hi and welcome to the third video in Northern Kiwi series on game design and development. Okay, this video assumes you've finished the second one and you've now got your tasks in order, with some links assigned to them. Remember, don't have to be too accurate about these at this point. These are always going to be very fluid. And dependencies, so which tasks are dependent on the other ones. So we're saying here that the main design task is dependent on the storyboards, and the flowcharts are also dependent on having some storyboards done. Maybe it's not the most accurate way of describing it, but that's up to you to basically determine which of your tasks are determined. I generally, when I'm developing something, I sketch out some ideas and general storyboards first, and then I go through and flesh out the ideas. So for me, I want my storyboards done first, so I've got an idea of what I'm going to be doing and link everything to that. I've obviously also got the main project, which is actually, building the game, but obviously I don't know how to use Unity at this point, so what I need to do is learn Unity, and that's going to take a big chunk of my time. And then obviously designing the levels, that was also linked in, and those textures. So this tutorial is going to look at how to use Excel to basically create a Gantt chart. Now thankfully Office 2013 has a Gantt chart template. So if you go into Google, type Excel Gantt chart template 2013, first link, well, on my account, is Gantt Project Planner from Office.com. So this has been provided by Microsoft and gives us a nice, simple Gantt chart that's really easy to use. Saves us having to build our own version, do a lot of conditional formatting and so on. So I'm just going to download that, and we get that download button and open it up. So when it opens up, I'll just get rid of protected mode. You've got a basic sort of layout, and we've got our period highlights. So what we can do is work out what period we're actually working in. You might want to allocate these as hours or days. Up to you. You can obviously go in and customize these as you want. This default one looks like it only goes up to 60, but you can add in more days or hours as you want. So if I look at this, I've got plan 1. So activity 1 is going to start on period 1. That's probably why it's easy to keep it as periods. It has a duration of 5. Let's have a look at what happens if we put in 100. What you'll see is it extends out to 60, but nothing further occurs. What we actually want to do is get it so we can copy these out. So what I'm going to do is drag these, get this column here, drag it across, and I get all the extra options. What's nice is we've taken all the extra lengths and it goes all the way out to 100 or whatever length we want. Just note, if we do delete one of the days, numbers at the top, then we don't get any information in there. But for my example, we're just going to leave it at 60. Okay, now I need to sort of go and match up my activities to what's actually here. But I'm going to delete a lot of this extra information because I don't want any of these values, and I don't even want the plan start or even a percentage complete, because all I'm concerned about here is just getting my activity names. Okay, so let's get my activities in. So activity 1, that's typo errors. So I get all my storyboards. Just copy and paste to bring them in. Let's just get rid of some of these bits of formatting. And I want to use my format painter to fix those up. I don't need my other activities, so not needed. And now we need a few of these extra durations. So 5, 5, 5, 20, 5, 5, 3, 5, 10, 5, and I'm going to leave these two blank for now. Okay, let's make that column a little bit wider so I can see all that heading. And make that a bit smaller just so I can actually see everything. There we go. Okay, I'm not going to worry about these other actual starts and plans, but my storyboards, they're going to start. Okay, I'm just going to do, I could go, it's going to take, start on 1, it's going to take 5, so that'll be 6. But this is going to be that plus 1. Now, what I also need to look at is my design. Equals that plus 1. It's basically saying I can start that on that date. So what we're doing here is we're looking at a best case scenario if we had unlimited people to actually put in into our project. So my Learn Unity, I can start that right at the beginning. My levels, I can only start that. Let's actually just lock that in place so we can copy it down. I can do my textures at 0.1. Script some codes. I can't test the final product until all of this is finished. I'm going to leave that one blank for now. Actually no, let's talk our way through it. So, testing the final product, it's going to take 5 hours, but I can't do it until all this other stuff is complete. I don't need my other one here. So I've got my basic tasks. So as you can see here, my storyboards all get done. So this is just what I've initially planned, but I can't start them. But I can't start my flowcharts until this. So we can see that they're sort of dependent. There's no direct sort of links on this, but that's what we use that other spreadsheet for. We could add an extra column saying, dependent on. That's just going to make it a bit more complex, more than we need to deal with at this point. And we've got all these other tasks. So what I can look at here is my best case scenario for starting my testing is at 0.31. My documentation is going to start at 1, and let's just say that's going to go through for 48 periods because it's going to be an ongoing thing. I might want to break that down into different sections. My testing, not really going to start that until period 21 when I finish the project. And its duration, it's going to go to the end of the project as well, so let's give that, say, about a 20. A little bit too much, but I don't know. Now, we've got our basic plan set up. Now, we've got a few little problems with this, is assuming there is just one person, we can't all be working on something at once at the same time. So we might need to move some of these around a bit. But we could sort of say, each period represents a week, and let's say, logically, we can say work on 2 things at once. So that would mean I can sort of do a graphic. I could probably do the storyboards and the graphics, well, and the documentation. We'll leave the documentation as is, but I probably can't really do the textures at this sort of point. And in hindsight, without my designs or my storyboards, I really can't really do these textures. So let's change that start date up to 6. But now, I probably want to do some of these at different times, so I can sort of just go and move something along. So let's say I want to start that about 8, and I might want to move my main sort of technical designs down to maybe period 10, so I can shift all the parts of the project along. In particular, when I get into actually making the game, say Unity models, they're probably going to be some of the first sort of things I basically want to get started. The text, I'm going to leave that, maybe till nearly the end. codes. Let's get that started, fairly early because we want to get it up and playing. And it's a bit of playing around, working out when you're actually going to be able to do these different tasks and attempt them. And testing the final product, I can't do that until I actually finish the product, which is now in week 37, which means this whole development testing, now I can shrink that down. That's only going to go to week part 36, so that will be about 15, 16, and I might need to extend the documentation a little bit. So I've now got a basic plan that lets me work out the times. Now I can put in when I actually started, and just match in the periods, how long it actually took to complete. So let's say it took 9, and I might say that is now 100% complete. So we've got different colors for what was actually happened and what matches up. We've got a little color codes up the top. So the plan, let's say I didn't actually start that until period 10, but it only took 3 periods, but I'm still only 50% of that complete. So I can go through and modify this and add in extra details all the way through. And that is basically how to use Excel as a Gantt project, and lets you monitor and maintain a project. Key things about any Gantt chart is that you continually update it. It's no use just making it once and then leaving it as is. You've got to go through, update it, add in the details, refine it, reflect on it. Okay, this has been another video for Northern Kiwi. I hope you're enjoying this little series. Keep working.